Hi guys, a bit of a different one from me today. I was recently asked as part of an interview process to do a presentation on employer branding and the impact this has on talent acquisition. So I've still got my presentation, so I thought I'd talk through it again and upload it for the purposes of the channel to see if that would help you in your studies. That's all. So here's the agenda. I went through looking at some definitions, some key trends, and then ultimately the impact this has on our ability to attract people into the business before providing a brief summary. So employer branding, essentially, what is it? So Ambler 1996 describes it as the package of functional, economical and psychological benefits provided by employment. And as we can see at the bottom there, there's a similar definition from the CIPD, although a little bit more wordy, and it also ties in culture and attracting the right people that will thrive and perform within that culture. But essentially, it refers to an organisation's reputation as an employer and its value proposition to its employees. Now, you'll probably come across EVP quite a lot in your studies, and this essentially is the whole employment offering that the business gives. So, like Ambler and the CIPD say, it's not just about pay and benefits; it's about everything: culture, performance, ethos, the management, everything running right through the business makes up and reinforces that branding. So if we look at how do we achieve an employer brand, so these 10 components here are really useful to see how public perception is built and how we can influence that to a certain degree. So in the light blue tiles, we can see the things that we can control. So like careers page, job listings, websites, our communication interaction with candidates. So ensuring that those are clear, consistent, that the messages there are the messages that we want to communicate to people, and that it's been listed and put out there on brand, and the messages is the same. And then the things that we can directly influence in the green tiles are things like our social media activity. We can control and influence what we put out there, and it's about having a clear, targeted communication strategy that will kind of speak organically to the people that we want it to speak to, rather than just copying and sharing any old links to articles or documents that we find interesting. It's about making sure that the stuff we are pushing out there is consistent with the brand, but is also going to influence and create buy-in from the people that we want it to create from. And then obviously by treating our employees well, they might feel the need to go on to websites like Glassdoor and leave really good reviews about how great it is to work here. So they're the things that we can influence and that can really strengthen the employer brand. And then ultimately public perception and awards. We talked about social media activity. We can directly influence what we push out there, but we can't directly influence the engagement that then gets. So you want people to then comment, like, share, buy into those messages we're putting out there, and that will ultimately help build the public perception of our business as a great place to work. And there might even be opportunities to win awards and accolades relevant to our business space and our market that we're in as well. So that's key there in separating the things that we can control, influence, and indirectly influence, that all goes towards making up that employer brand. So employer branding process. So if we look at it from a strategic 5-point process, so how do we get to having that brand really? So first of all, it starts with an analysis and an EVP. Who are we? What is so great about us that would make people want to work here? And then looking at how we're going to communicate that to the people, how our external branding is going to reinforce what we are like as a business and how we're going to tell people about it. And then, like I said, number 3, again, creating engagement. I spoke about social media content and having it targeted and applicable to the people that we want to speak to. And hopefully by doing that, it will then create their engagement and their interactions with our business. Recruitment, again, key one. So once we've got that and we've got the buy-in and these people understand who we are and they want to work with us, then how do we ensure that our recruitment process is going to enable us to do that and to get those people through the door and in our business? But then crucially as well, once we've done all that, we need to retain people. So what needs to happen there is that the reality of the employment experience needs to reflect its presentation. Those people that have made the decision to come and work for us because of not just our pay and our benefits, but our values and principles and goals. When they come into the business, that is what they see as well. So that's vitally important, and having the then strategies in place to ensure retentions, like access to training, development, appraisals, things like that. So that's a 5-step process there on building and strengthening the brand. So we talked a lot about branding and what it is and how we can do it, but kind of what is needed for a strong employer brand, really. So a key thing is visibility. The more open you can be as a business, the more opportunities people have to look through those doors and see exactly what it's like on the ground. So openness, transparency will create that buy-in, and obviously there needs to be alignment from top to bottom. Everyone needs to be pulling in the same direction, working towards the same shared vision and goals, and the reinforcement of that brand, of that strategy needs to be there, and obviously it needs to connect with the values and the principles of the business. In the current day and age, you cannot have a strong employer brand without a real commitment to equality, diversity, and inclusion. And it's been proven that companies with consistent and deeply held values outperform those that don't have a clear ethos. So it's vitally important now that not only is there that commitment within the business, but also the websites, the job listings, the careers page all show that commitment to equality and diversity to help us build more diverse and more equal teams. We've spoke about having a clear brand management strategy, and what this will do is that it will mean that the employer branding is visible at every aspect of the employment experience, and the people management processes that exist within the business as well, often referred to as touch points. So at every point there that brand is strengthened and upheld and reinforced. And obviously we spoke about it need to reflect the reality of the employment experience, not just how it's presented on the outside, and it's something that needs to be consistently shaped and managed over time. And I'll draw you onto a quote from Jeff Bezos, who spoke about company culture in saying that once a culture is formed, it takes nuclear weaponry to change it. And this is the same with employer branding. If you're in a position where your public perception is negative and you're wanting to change that, then it is not going to change overnight. It will take clear, consistent communication and doing it through the right channels, following the right processes to change the people's mindsets on you as a brand. So if we look at some key statistics as to why employer branding is important, really. So the top one there, 84% of job seekers say that the reputation of a company as an employer is important, and 50% of candidates wouldn't swap companies for somebody with a bad reputation, even if they're paying more money. A real key point to pick out is that 86% of HR professionals say recruitment is becoming more like marketing, and where there used to be quite clear divides between the two functions, in that marketing would historically handle the corporate branding and create the communication strategies there to engage with consumers and create that buy-in for products and services, and recruitment was obviously processes, admin, advertising, shortlisting. It's becoming more of a science. Recruitment it's about being more like marketing and creating that buy-in for not products and services, but for people that want to work with us. And that's where it's similar to a corporate brand in a way, in that we're wanting people to see us as a brand and go, hey, that's a great place to work. I want to work there. And that's why recruitment teams, talent acquisition teams are having to be more like marketing departments in the way that they communicate and get that message out there. Again, social media, I've talked about it a little bit, but it's vital. Nearly 80% of job applicants are checking sites like Glassdoor, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn to see what the message is, what is important to this business, what communication are they putting out into the world, what engagement do they have, all vitally important before anybody chooses to send in an application for a job now. And as we can see, 80% of people in talent acquisition roles believe employer branding has a significant impact on their ability to hire great talent. So if we just kind of summarize and look at those impacts, really, that those statistics are telling us, is that we can see that there's a huge impact there on talent acquisition, and the more open and transparent you can be, the more unique you are selling yourself in your market space. So there's the opportunities there to stand out and be competitive because you are completely transparent and open, and people can see your business for what it is. And then obviously the overall recruitment and retention there will help drive down cost, because it's potential to improve cost per hire, improve the overall quality of people that we're bringing into the business, because they've seen what we're like, they've bought into our values and our principles and our goals. So that will help us to improve retention as well, obviously, if the reality of the employment experience is what they bought into. And through having that commitment to diversity, inclusion, then it will help us build more diverse, creative, motivated teams, which has been statistically proven to improve innovation and drive performance and profitability of businesses as well. So that's some of the real key impacts that having a clear employer brand strategy has on talent acquisition. And here's a summary there for us. So obviously, the ability to source, engage, and secure top talent is dependent on the strength of employer brand alone, and companies with consistent and deeply held values tended to outperform those that didn't. And here's some references that I used as well for the presentation.